Hello, this is a new topic today. It is an essay in aesthetics, right? It is in bachelor degree in BBS, BA, BSW. And what is aesthetics? Aesthetics means the study of perception. This is music like realization. Aesthetics, okay, it is quite meaningful. Aesthetic gives a kind of sense to the beauty, pleasure. That is what we perceive and understand the things, right? An essay in aesthetics, this is the title of the essay. An essay in aesthetics is an essay written by Roger Fry. It is based on graphic arts and in art for art's sake. This is based on the graphic just fiction, right? The graphic artist need not represent anything in the real world, and that art has no ethical function in the lives of those who view it. This is the function, right, of the graphic art. To see to see and understand all the relationship in the work's formal structure is to have an aesthetic experience by Fry. As Fry has said, Fry is the writer. Fry has said that what is this aesthetic art then? What is this graphic art? Graphic art means to see and understand all relationships in the works of formal structure. What is the formal structure, right? Of the experience of the aestheticism. He has further said that an aesthetic experience has got ethical detentions to experience a powerfully, wonderfully arranged group of forms is an uplifting experience for human being. It is about the experience of human relationship with the imaginative work of art. This aesthetic writer talks about is about human imaginative faculty, fancy, how we imagine, how we become creative, how we become quite different from the creative work of art in comparison to other field of work. So graphic arts are the expression of the imaginative life rather than a copy of actual life. This is not art means not the copy of actual life. It is expression, imaginative expression. It is real imaginative expression of life and presentation of life, not the real copy of actual life, right? The children see the form of nature and express with delightful freedom about their imaginative lives. If children are outside, they see new thing and they raise the question and they become imaginative and they express the delightfully, just happily about the freedom of imaginative lives. In the same way, aesthetic art also expresses the beauty that is imaginative form of life. Art is an expression of imaginative life. This is what the writer says. Art is nothing but it is the expression of imaginative life, right? And there is no moral responsibility in art. The writer believes that when the writer talks about the art, aesthetic art, and this creation of poetry, creation of writing, and the artist or the writer generally imagines a lot of things, and those imaginative things are not quite responsible about the morality, about the justice, about the ethics, right? Because it is imaginative, creative work. But the pure moralist accepts nothing except ethical values, right? There are pure moralists. Moralist believes or accepts nothing other than real ethical values, right? Some people think that sexual pleasure is everything in life, but it is not so. That is the writer's belief, right? There are people who they think that sexual pleasure they get from the sexual intercourse is everything in life, but the writer does not have this sort of belief, and he does not say it is not everything. Right, the pleasure that person gets from the sexual activity is not everything in life, right? That is his idea. The imaginative life is yet an absolute necessity. That is the writer's idea. In aestheticism, we have imaginative power, we have imaginative skill, and we express the real philosophy of life through imagination. And that imaginative power, imaginative life, living in imagination, living with fantasy, living with number of ideals of life is absolutely necessary, right? So for religion, morality is important, and imaginative life entirely affects religious morality too, right? There is a connection between imaginative life and the religion, because religion is quite important. Religion gives about the concept of morality, and it is quite valuable, right? So creative art also gives their imaginative idea, and imagination of creativity, aestheticism is almost equal to religious morality, right? Religion is also an affair of the imaginative life. Yes, even religion talks about imaginative life. There is nothing other than imaginative life expressed even in religion. The religious experience was once have, right, spiritual capacities of human nature. Religious life talks about spiritual capacities of human nature. The exercise of spiritual capacities of human nature is itself good and desirable apart from their effects upon actual life. So spiritual aspect of life, imaginative is also related with imaginative aspect of life. There is a close relationship between imaginative poetry, imaginative creativity, imaginative work of art, and spiritual aspect of imagination, right? The pleasures derived from art are fundamental rather than sexual pleasures. Generally, writers, when they write, they get the pleasure from their imaginative aspect, from their just spiritual power of imagination, and that pleasure is much more important than the sexual pleasures that the people imagine, right? So imaginative life comes in the course of time to represent more or less what mankind feels to be the complete expression of its own nature, right? Imaginative comes in life because of representation of the mankind, representation of nature, reflection of nature, expression of nature, right? The imaginative life of people, um, okay, has very important different levels at different times. There is a little bit of this mistakes in typing, right? There is imaginative life of people, it is repeated, only life of people has very different levels at different times, right? Okay, there are double people has commit, so please remove it. The imaginative life of people has, that is the point, very different levels at different times. Our moral level and general humanity is decidedly higher today, but the level of our imaginative condition is comparatively lower. We don't have that. We have higher just lifestyle, different lifestyle, morality we have a level we have made higher, but imaginatively we are always lower in comparison to just morality, in comparison to general humanity. That is what we think, that is what we give high value, that is less in imaginative condition. That means imaginatively we are lower in comparison to just morality and lifestyle, right? The average businessman would be more desirable and respectable because they are admirable, not desirable, admirable. Average businessmen would be more admirable. Why admirable? Because they imagine. They have imaginative power in the business world of business, and they are respectable. Why? Because of being their imaginative lifestyle. They always live with the imagination. They imagine how to just apply the technology or technique and style of business, and how to just create larger benefits and to job opportunities to the people, and just to change the lifestyle. That is what imagination they have. That's why they are admirable and they are respectable in the case of other people's life. The imaginative life has its own history both in race and in the individual. It has its own historical events. The daydreams of child are filled with romances. See, so imaginative life is just like the daydreams of the child lives. So child lives and daydreams are filled with imagination, romances. When people just imagine and they have a kind of romances like that of daydreams. Music is also related with the romances, and there is an instances, means examples, satisfaction with the instant satisfaction, right? Immediate satisfaction with the musical pleasure. Response to other instinct is to satisfy other desires, right? So imaginative life, aesthetic life, creative life means just like having romances, just like having musical pleasure, just like having immediate satisfaction, just like getting the pleasure, okay, on and getting the responses of the other desires. Imaginative life would be the life of creation. This is a creative part of life. In dreams and when under the influence of drugs, the imaginative life passes out of our own control. When we are dream and we do not control our life, when we are controlled or influenced under the drugs and that drug makes us imaginative, that life does not go without control, and in such its experiences may be highly undesirable, right? But whenever it remains under our control, it must always be on the whole desirable life. When we are under the control of our life, we desire something else, we want to have something else. So when we are controlled with the imagination, that is very useful and meaningful part of life. To desire is beside pleasure, but only pleasure is a rare part of what is desirable. That is what writer says. To desire is beside pleasure, and only pleasure is a rare part of what desire is, right? Desire and pleasures are related there. So with the desire, the pleasure comes. With the pleasure, the desire also comes, right? With the pleasure, this imagination is there with these desirable things. So the desirability of the imaginative life does distinguish it very sharply from actual life. Actual life is without any imagination. Actual life is without aestheticism. Actual life is without any realization of the desire of something else. And so imaginative life, desirability of imaginative life has a different, very sharply different, it is a different form of life, it has different quality, and it is different from actual life, right? So art is the chief organ of the imaginative life. Art comes out of imaginative life. Without imagination, art does not come. And when there is art, there is beauty. When there is imagination, there is beauty. When there is beauty, there is pleasure. When there is a pleasure, there is desirability. When there is desirability, and there is the maximum satisfaction of the life. This is how the writer has connected the aestheticism with the imaginative part of life, with the creativity aspect of life, with the desirability aspect of life, with the pleasurable moment of the life. So, and with the pleasure comes the satisfaction, and satisfaction is the real meaning. That is what is better than other form of the life. It is greater perception. Aesthetic means greater perception and greater purity, as well as freedom of emotion, right? When we have imaginative life, that is greater understanding, and then there is a greater purity of our thoughts and the freedom of our emotion. We get released from our emotions. Imagination brings the fundamental difference from those who are not imaginative. Yes, imagination brings differences from those people who are not imaginative, right? So imagination draws freedom from necessary external conditions. We won't be controlled. We won't be almost under the dominance of other external conditions when we are imaginative. So art is the main organ of imaginative life. When we are doing the activities of art, creativity of art, that is the main form of imaginative life, and it is through the art we are controlled within us. When we are writing, when we are creating something, when we are bringing the work of art, and at that time we are controlled within ourselves completely. At that time we will be the control under the art. The imaginative life is distinguished by the greater clearness of its perception. There comes the clearness, right? Imagination is the source of having greater purity and freedom of its emotion. We do have purity, we do have freedom of our emotion and expression when you have that imagination. So imagination is a kind of healing medicine for the healthy and happy life. When we have imagination and then we have a healing medicine, we cure all from all the diseases and from unnecessary thoughts of life, right? So aesthetics can make the person imaginative and fanciful for the creation of art and the beauty of artistic creativity to all. So aesthetic is essential, right? So the essayist pleads to be active for the creativity and to be engaged for the study of beauty with aesthetics, right? Aesthetics, the author refers, is to be engaged in the branch of philosophy dealing with the nature of beauty, dealing with the nature of art, dealing with the taste of art, and with the creation and the appreciation of beauty, and the study of mind and emotions in relation to the sense of beauty. That is what the author refers to. Aesthetic does not mean only imaginative. Let's be philosophical. Let's deal with the philosophical idea. Let's become engaged, busy with the branch of philosophy. Let's become engaged with the nature of beauty, with the art of beauty, with the taste and the creation and as well as appreciation of the beauty. Let's study the mind, let's study about emotion, and let's enjoy the sense of beauty with the form of imagination. That is what he says, that is aestheticism. The essay is about graphic arts, which refer the visual arts on the use line and tone rather than three-dimensional work or the use of color. Examples are photographs, that is graphic arts, drawings, line art, there is graphs are diagrams, and even typography, numbers, symbols, geometrics, designs, maps, engineering drawings, and other images are graphic art. So writer is talking about graphic art in the aestheticism. Let's imagine, let's draw the maps, let's draw the graphic visual arts in the creativity, right? Hence the writer has focused to study the images, graphs and drawings and symbols to be more imaginative in the process of thinking. The pleasures that come through the images and upon its meditative condition would be higher quality of emotional freedom and getting purity in thoughts. That is his concept. Therefore, the author has emphasized more and more in imaginative as well as in the mode of fantasy to be different from common levels of human life. When we become engaged with the work of art and we become imaginative. When we become imaginative, we get the pleasure. When we get the pleasure, and then we just get the satisfaction, and we feel that we are able to express our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and we become free from expression of emotions. There is a freedom of expression of emotion, and we have a purity of thought, purity of thinking. This becomes quite meaningful and useful for the use of life. This is how the writer has just asked to be imaginative enough in life. Thank you.